RuN is a suspenseful thriller starring Sarah Paulson. We meet Sarah Paulson's character, and the movie deliberately withholds information from its audience. We get some opening text here that give us the different definitions for these conditions, and at first I thought it was pretty weird, but then I also thought that it would make sense later on. But it was a nice, cool way to transition into the title of this movie. After the beginning of this movie, where we supposedly see Sarah Paulson's infant child being given CPR, we fast forward a few years later, and Sarah Paulson is at this group session, and at first I thought it had a little bit of humor in it, and I didn't think it was intentional, but then after observing the scene a little while longer, it does seem that the humor in this moment was intentional. I do believe that there is a little bit of comedy sprinkled throughout this movie. It is not all 100% serious. So finally, after Sarah Paulson's introduction, we meet her daughter. Now this actor here is mwah. She gave an absolutely fantastic performance throughout this entire film. But this girl wants to have a life for herself after her mother taking care of her for so many years. The initial part of suspicion is when the daughter finds these green pills in the Kruger bag, and the daughter wants to know what the pills are. And so, like I said, there is comedy or humor sprinkled throughout here, because there's a scene where the daughter ends up calling 411, and automated systems are incredibly slow. And this movie captures that in a very comedic way.
Say a city and state, like Derry, Maine.
Seattle, Washington.
Did you say Seattle, Washington?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Yes.
She's trying to get a hold of a pharmacy so the people at the pharmacy can tell her the name of this drug and what it does. The daughter hangs up the phone because she doesn't want the bill to appear on her mother's phone bill. So she calls a random number, and some guy answers, and apparently he has some issues going on with a woman in his life, or maybe multiple women. I don't know. I can't really tell.
Baby, I see you peeking through the window. Listen, I told you, Paula is just a friend. No, where you going? Regrésate, por favor.
But after some convincing, the guy finally decides to help her out, so he looks up this information. Things take a turn for the worse once the information is revealed that this is not the pill that it's supposed to be. So then the daughter comes up with a plan. She decides to go see a movie with her mother just to get outside. So Sarah Paulson and the daughter go to a movie theater, and during the movie the daughter says she has to go to the bathroom, so she leaves the auditorium to go to the pharmacy across the street, and here's more comedy gold.
I'm very sorry to bother you, but I was hoping you'd be so kind and let me cut in line.
What? No, I've been waiting here. Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Thank you. Sorry, everyone. Cutting through. I'm paralyzed. Feel bad for me.
So the daughter goes to the pharmacy, and there's a line, and the daughter uses her being in a wheelchair to her advantage, which I thought was pretty funny. And she goes up to the counter talking to the lady that knows her and her mother, and the daughter shows the lady behind the counter the pills that her mother gives her, and she would like to know what these are. And she says that these are her mother's pills. So then the lady says, well, this is confidential. If these are your mother's pills, I can't give you this information. So then the daughter tries to be clever when she says that, oh, my mother and we're doing a scavenger hunt, and so I need to know what these pills are. And at first I thought, this lady behind the counter was going to fall for it, but ultimately she didn't. And then there is a twist. It is revealed that these green little pills that Sarah Paulson is giving her daughter are actually dog pills.
Lidocaine. Green pill, gray cap.
It's dog medicine.
Uh-huh. Says it's a muscle relaxant prescribed to reduce canine leg pain or leg discomfort caused by sunburns, bites, or cuts.
And it's shocking to the daughter. And then she asks the pharmacist, well, if these pills were given to a human being, is that good or bad? But then we don't get the answer to our question because Sarah Paulson burst into the room. And at this moment, I was on the edge of my seat. I was yelling at the screen saying, "Run, run, run!" Sarah Paulson comes in, acting all nice, and then she sticks a syringe in her daughter's leg and knocks her out. Then her daughter wakes up in her room, and this is the part of the movie where it gets interesting, because the daughter can't get out of her room, and so she finds a way out in a clever way. And I don't know how to go through all of these details, but I'll do my best. It feels like a Mission Impossible meets Home Alone kind of scenario with this, because the daughter puts some liquid in her mouth, then she grabs these tools, then she goes out on the roof and she crawls across the roof, and the way the camera pans out, it feels like I'm watching a Mission Impossible movie. She reaches her mother's room, and then she puts this tool on the glass, then she spits this liquid onto the glass, and then the glass shatters. But it's great stuff. It's great. I thought it was perfectly executed. And the daughter climbs through the window, falls onto the floor, but now she's having an asthma attack, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so you planned all that out to get into this room, to get into another section of the house, but you forgot your inhaler. Okay, so then she needs her inhaler, so she's crawling, and the performance is great. I'm really believing it here. And she's crawling across the floor. She reaches her room, she grabs her inhaler, and then now let the obstacle course begin. The machine isn't working because Sarah Paulson is really going crazy now. She's pretty much destroyed everything that her daughter needs to be able to get around this house. So the machine's not working, so then the daughter throws her wheelchair down the stairs, and then she falls and begins to tumble down the stairs. Then there's a moment of courage where her toes start to move, and then she pulls herself up, she gets in the wheelchair, and she goes outside. Then she meets a postal worker, and now there's more suspense. There's just layers of suspense here that is really good. She meets the postal worker, and she tells the postal worker what's going on. Sarah Paulson shows up and sees her daughter with this postal worker, and now there's a confrontation where the postal worker wants to do the right thing, so he's keeping Sarah Paulson away from the girl, and Sarah Paulson is pleading and begging the postal worker, let me see my daughter, but he's just like, I can't, because, it's a moral thing. So then Sarah Paulson's like, all right, then can I at least follow you to the hospital? Because that's where the postal worker's going to take her daughter, I guess. And the postal worker's like trying to be nice, like, yeah, sure, you can follow us, but I just can't let you see her. So Sarah Paulson agrees, and the postal worker puts the girl in the back of his postal truck, and Sarah Paulson grabs a gun. And the way this is shot, I was assuming that Sarah Paulson's character was going to blow this postal worker's brains all over the back of his postal truck. But no, that's not what happens. The director throws us a curveball. He swerves us right here and gives us a bit of misdirection, because instead of getting shot in the face, she puts a syringe in him. So then Sarah Paulson takes her daughter back home, where I assumed the final confrontation would begin. But then, the shocking twist is that Sarah Paulson is not really this girl's mother. And we see this flashback from the beginning. Sarah Paulson ended up stealing this baby And so, yeah, Sarah Paulson's character is just some crazy woman. So then there's a nice tense moment in here where Sarah Paulson goes off the rails and she starts cooking up this concoction, and the daughter's getting scared. She's like, "What are you doing?" And Sarah Paulson grabs her syringe and starts putting this liquidy substance in it, and then you assume she's going to inject her daughter with it. And it's really scary right here during this moment because I felt for the daughter. She's like, "Mom, I don't want to die. Mom, please don't." And I felt that. So then she goes into this closet. I don't know what happened. The girl, she ultimately drinks this liquid because she looks at Sarah Paulson and she's like, "Well, you need me." And then so she drinks this liquid and Sarah Paulson's freaking out. And I guess the daughter drank the liquid because, you know, that would get her out of the house because Sarah Paulson would take her to the hospital. And she did. So she took the girl to the hospital. But now the girl can't talk or breathe on her own. She's completely out of it. And then Sarah Paulson wants to take her daughter home, but then the doctor's like, you can't take her out of here. And then the daughter sees Sarah Paulson and starts freaking out. So then she tries to write down what's going on, but then by the time she finishes writing anything down, Sarah Paulson, "Oh, yep, I told you so."
Code blue.
I'll be right back.
So then Sarah Paulson kidnaps her daughter. Well, it's not really her daughter, but she kidnaps this girl again. She steals her from the hospital and she's about to leave, but then the nurse that was in there earlier finds the piece of paper that says "Mom" on it. And so then they call security, and security shows up and surrounds Sarah Paulson, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. And the girl's like, "I don't need you." And then Sarah Paulson's like, "You will need me." I assumed that at that moment, Sarah Paulson's character was going to take the gun and shoot the girl in the legs, so then she wouldn't have the ability to walk ever. That's what I assumed when she said that line of "you will need me." But she doesn't. She points the gun at security saying, "We're going home," and then she gets shot in the shoulder and she dramatically falls over the escalator, and I assume she was dead, but she's not dead, because then we fast forward 7 years into the future, and Sarah Paulson is committed to this correctional facility, but I guess she's in a psych ward as well or something. She looks kind of crazy, and the daughter's there, and she can finally walk a little bit, not particularly well, but she can walk pretty well. But yeah, she's talking to Sarah Paulson, and I thought this ending was very weak. I didn't like this ending, because then it's just, okay, she's talking to Sarah Paulson, and I'm like, okay, did you actually find your real parents? Why are you talking to this crazy lady? Like, you know, and then it's revealed that I guess the girl just wants revenge on Sarah Paulson's character, because then she spits out the green pills and says "open wide" or something like that, and then it just ends. So I thought the ending was pretty weak. Overall, my verdict for this movie is it's good. This is a good movie. It sucked me in at the beginning. I thought the beginning of this movie was weird in the way it was shot, but it was interesting, and I knew that the story was withholding some information from us. I just didn't know what it was. And I like the slow build, slowly revealing how crazy Sarah Paulson's character is, all the way up to the twist of learning the information that, oh, she actually stole this child. I thought that was pretty interesting. I did enjoy the suspenseful aspects in here. There are a lot of suspenseful aspects in here, and they just build and build and build, and I do believe that the main actor here really carried a lot of this movie. The suspense does work on its own, but this actor really sells it. Her performance is 100% solid. I believe in this character. The whole movie had a lot of good moments in it. There's a lot of good moments in here, and the movie's good. I enjoyed it. I would watch this again. The suspense is great. The comedy is effective. What more can I say? This is a good movie that has a lot of good things going for it.